Hi, I'm Alison Mossart from The Kills.
And I'm Jamie from The Kills. And you're listening to 89 FM.
Oi, eu sou a Mariana Paulino e eu conversei com a Alison Mossart e o Jamie Hinz da banda The Kills sobre o novo álbum que eles lançaram esse ano em uma entrevista exclusiva para 89, a Rádio Rock. So guys, how's there? Where are you right now?
We are both in Los Angeles and we're very well, thank you.
Oh, great.
Where are you?
I'm in Brazil, São Paulo.
Yeah. São Paulo?
Yeah.
Oh, I love São Paulo.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. When we're doing these interviews, it's my kind of way of traveling. When someone says, "Oh, I'm from Mexico City," and I'm like, "Oh my God!" I just remembering all the walking around and the smells, and remembering Sao Paulo and my friends there and hanging out. And, oh my God!
Buying beads.
Oh, okay.
A lot of beads.
Yeah, buying loads of beads. And food. Oh my God, the food.
Oh, great. So, that one was actually my first question for you guys. So you've played in Brazil a few times, right?
Yeah.
Besides that traveling experience, what else do you remember from our country?
I mean, let's see.
I mean, honestly, it sounds like Alison will vouch for this, right? I don't say this kind of thing to everybody, but like Sao Paulo and Rio are two of my favorite cities in the world. I don't know why. I just always had a fantastic time there. In fact, I was kind of at one point I really wanted to move to Rio for a bit. And then, I heard that Nick Cave had lived there for a year, and it kind of was like, yes, I knew I was right. It's just, I just always have such a good time there.
That's great. We're pretty happy to hear that. So, guys, about the EP, how long has it been since the idealization of this project?
Not very long, just a couple months. It came about during lockdown. It was a couple months into lockdown, and Lawrence Bell from Domino called up Jamie and was like, "Hey, I keep running across these rare B-sides, tracks we just hadn't heard or at all for years. Things that kind of got lost, that were B-sides of 7 inches back in the day, or radio things or demos and stuff like that." And he had the idea of compiling them. And so it just turned into this really fun project to do, when we couldn't be going out and doing anything else. And it was lovely. It was like a crazy trip down memory lane. And so nice to hear these songs again, because even I hadn't heard most of them in a really long time. So it was fun to put together and revisit that time in our career.
That's really great. Musically, what can we expect from this EP?
It's a collection. It starts off. It's from 2002 to 2009. So it's that was a period of time when people were releasing CD singles and vinyl singles and downloads as well. So your record company would kind of make you record all these extra songs to put on the B-side of a single or to put on a CD single to try and sell it. And it was I remember hating it at the time, thinking it was some corporate trick and it was bullshit. And we'd end up having to write a song the same day and record it in the evening, and it kind of drove me mad. But now I look back on it, and those moments, there's just really raw explosions of just ideas, and that we didn't recorded in all sorts of ways that you just wouldn't hear anymore. Like recording in some of that stuff's recorded in a rehearsal room, some of it's recorded on tape, some on mini disc, some on all these. It's kind of a proper. It's like a proper snapshot of the time with no production. And I like that.
Do you guys have a favorite one on this EP?
Favorite song?
Yeah.
It changes often. It often changes. Gosh, I don't know. I really fell in love with Raise Me when we were making a video for it. And I was hearing it all the time, and that was a song that You know, I'm So Happy Saw the Light of Day. So for a while that was my favorite, but now I don't know. Jamie, what's yours?
I don't know. Like you said, it changes quite a lot.
Yeah.
I felt the same with Raise Me when I stumbled across it, because I'd really forgotten about that song, and it was like a really nice breath of fresh air, especially when the outro part came on. I was like, wow, that's great, you know. And it's not often you're surprised by your own music, you know. So yeah, that and Super Powerless, I love that one. You know, it's kind of good vibe.
Yeah.
Nice. Guys, are there any songs that haven't made it to the final version of the EP?
Yeah, there's plenty. There's a lot of songs. I mean, it was nice. It's nice to set yourself parameters when you're doing something like this, because a double 12-inch only has so much time on it. But yeah, we keep to this day still, even though we've been working on this project for months and months and months now, still find other songs that were like, oh man, that should have been on there. And it's like, no, we only have so much space. So it's cool. You know, there's room to do many of these records in the future if ever we want to. It's a really nice exercise and a looking back, but yeah, there's too many songs. We have too many songs.
So is it possible to say that in the future we'll have another one of this again?
I will never promise anything, but you never know.
It's possible. I hope that life will get back to normal and we'll be too busy writing new records and touring to be able to think about doing another retrospective record. I mean, that's really the reason it came about, was because, you know, suddenly there's no schedule. Suddenly, like, everything's open-ended and you can, you know, we're resilient and adaptable and resourceful, and it felt like, while we've got all this time to work things out and things have slowed down a bit, it's probably the only time we're ever going to be able to do anything like this. So it was, I kind of half hope that we don't have time to do anything like this ever again.
Do you think the social distancing was the reason of making this album? If it wasn't for it, you wouldn't have done that?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I don't think the idea would have come up if we weren't all stuck in lockdown, you know? It was kind of like, all right, well, what do we do? What do we do? We gotta work on projects. We gotta work on things. And, you know, something that had already been recorded, that's wonderful, because we couldn't go into a studio, you know, and we were across the country from each other. Yeah, it gave us a great opportunity to do a project like this, because in normal life, it's not, you know, you can go here and there, you can record a new record, you can do this and that, and you're not really looking back, you're always looking forward. So this kind of pause provided, you know, the room to do something like this.
Oh, okay. Speaking about reflecting and looking back, what has changed for the band since these years, since 2002 and 2009?
Well, it's a weird one, because probably we're a lot less restricted in musically now, because, you know, we can't. Back then, we were sort of making music on the few things we had and didn't have any money. So in a way, that's quite restricting. Now it's sort of kind of feel like we could realize any kind of music we want to do. But I don't know, what goes along with that is there's more expectations, I suppose. You know, however much people say they're doing it for themselves and they don't care, you know, you can't help when you at some point realizing you've got an audience that wants to hear the music you're making, and in some way, however small, I think it shapes the music that you write.
Oh, I see. You've realized the video for I Put a Spell on You. That's a quite famous song everybody loves. How is it for you to record your own version of the song?
I remember it being absolutely wonderful. I mean, Jamie played me that song the day before we did it. I believe it was that close, right, Jamie?
Yeah.
We needed a B-side we needed a song, a single song, because we wanted to go and play in China. And part of the deal with this gig that we were going to play is that we had to release a track for them, like an unreleased song.
Single.
Yeah. It was like an unreleased thing. So we jumped in the studio and we did a cover of I Put a Spell on You. And I literally just heard it for the first time the day before. And we did our version of it. And I mean, we both loved that song so much. We played that on stage for a while after that, a couple years, you know. So it was fun to kind of track down some footage of us playing that. There's not a lot of it out there. I think I found like 3 times when someone had filmed that in the audience and cut it together for the video.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it was a pretty good version, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Guys, why not releasing a vinyl version? Is it something that you wanted to do before?
Because it's nice to have an object, you know. It's a body of work, and it's nice to have an object that you can hold in your hands and play on your record player. I mean, I think it encourages people to listen to it as a body of work. And the photographs are so beautiful. I just, you know, I can't think of music. I can't think of like releasing music as like a playlist on a computer. I would just check out. It's nothing fun for me to do, you know.
I think vinyl's a really important way to listen to music, and it almost died out at one point, and it's made an amazing resurgence. People want vinyl. People collect vinyl. They want to hear records on vinyl. They understand the idea of opening the cellophane on a record and pulling out the vinyl and the smell and putting it on your record player and putting the needle down. They understand that, and of course we want to, you know, encourage that and support that more and more, you know, definitely.
Okay, I see. Guys, now I have some personal questions for you guys about music. When did you guys decide to be a musician?
I don't feel like I ever decided. I feel like I just was doing it. I don't know. There was not like a day or a moment or anything. I just loved music so much as a kid and got into skateboarding and started playing music with the kids that I skateboarded with, and then that was it.
Yeah, it seemed like there's from a sort of guy's perspective, a lot of it was about, like, I guess when I started wanting to start a band when I was like 10 or 11. I think my first band was when I was 12, and it was just rubbish. You know, I was playing an acoustic guitar, and my friend was playing piano. It was not a band, but it just felt like, you know, no one really questions why guys want to play sports. They just presume that they're going to want to. And those guys, you know, it's like a sort of way of hanging out for guys, isn't it? And it's also pretty disgusting. And starting a band was kind of the alternative way of like guys hanging out, like boys hanging out and communicating and making something that was going to be something. It was just like the sort of antidote to the sports crowd.
Okay. What's the first musical you remember hearing?
The first music I remember would be my dad singing stuff. He just sang, he made up songs all the time. And I kind of find myself doing it as well. But yeah, he'd sing about everything. If he was cooking, he'd have a song about that. If he'd have a song about everything. So that was my first one, yeah.
I mean, I don't remember the first time I heard music. I mean, I would have been too young to even know. But I know when I started to become obsessed with music was when I was pretty young, you know, like 4 or 5. And I would listen to the radio all night long. And my dad is a used car dealer, and he would bring me home all the cassette tapes he would find in the cars that he bought and sold. People would just leave their music in there, you know. And he would just come home with these bags of cassettes, and I didn't know who any of these bands were, but I would play them all. And certain ones I would really, would stick out to me and become my favorite things to listen to. So I don't know. It was just kind of always something I really loved, but you don't have like a first memory of hearing music.
No. Car alarm.
My last question for you, it's about rock. It's a question we always do here at the radio. What did rock and roll teach you?
I don't know. It's still teaching me stuff. It's like, I think rock and roll is a really good way of kind of filtering out who's for real and who isn't. You can see straight away the people that are just like emulating it and copying it and trying to appropriate it, and you can see people that have got it in their blood, and it's, I don't know, it's a good, I don't know, I like all genres of music, but there's something about rock and roll that is just, it seems really authentic in how freeing it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think it taught me another form of self-expression, something that I just completely related to immediately. It's another way, it's another language, and it's kind of it's a leveler. So it's like anywhere you go, people speak whatever. People that music moves everybody, whether they speak English or not, or, whatever language the music is in, it moves people and people have a human relationship with it. So I don't know. I think it teaches me about the world. I think it teaches me about cultures and people.
That's great. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for your time and for this interview.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Take care.
Take care. Send my love to Brazil.
Bye.
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 89, a Rádio Rock.